I'm here today with Michael Davis, football great. You don't want to miss his story because it's going to change your life and thousands of lives around the world. Stay tuned. So I'm here with Michael Davis, football great. And you have probably one of the most incredible stories that I've heard from a football player. You and I met, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah. You had a book.
Right.
You're working on a book. I'm excited to say your book is done and your book is available, called Victorious Change. We're going to have a link in the description below. People, you have to buy this book because it is a story of victory, failure, and then ultimate victory at the end with your struggle. But I want to start back at the beginning. Newspapers were writing about you while you were still in high school.
Right.
Talk to me, what was it like to be a high school football player who was receiving hundreds of offers from colleges? Please come to our college. What was that like back in the day?
Well, it was an amazing experience. You have all these college recruits coming to your house, coming into my living room, vying for, my talent and coming from the neighborhood that I came from, and it's pretty amazing.
You lived in San Bernardino, California, right?
Yeah. I lived in San Bernardino. And actually, me and Ronnie Lott, we kind of grew up together.
Yeah.
We played on Pop Warner teams together.
Oh, that's cool.
He was the quarterback then, and I was the tight end.
Yeah.
And so by the time we went to high school, he moved to Rialto, which is the next city over. Yeah. And I went to San Bernardino High School. Yeah. And so we ended up being the top 2 recruits in the whole Southwest United States.
That's right. Because, and I'm going to have Theo, our director, put it up on the screen. There's a bunch of articles. We're going to put one up here. And every school was trying to get you too.
Right. And we actually went on a couple of recruiting trips together. Yeah. And we ended up actually going to SC on a package deal. Yeah. Well, I went first. I said, I'm going. I have, you have greats like Mike Garrett and O.J. Simpson, those type of guys, I'm getting to talk to and rub shoulders with in high school. Tell you a story. So I'm a track guy as well. Yeah. So I was running world class with world class guys at SC, Mike Sanford of the days, Billy Mullins, #1 in the world. Wow. So I'm going to play track. So I'm going to go play track. Yeah. And so John Robinson says, you're not playing track. We want you in spring ball because it's between you and Marcus who's going to get the starting job at tailback. Wow. And so back in those days, they didn't have the running back as committee like they do today. Right. 2 or 3 running backs. Yeah. Then there was one guy. Yeah. And that's who got out the bulk of the carries. Mm-hmm. Of course, they were vying for a Heisman Trophy winner, which he eventually ends up winning the Heisman. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So ultimately, you chose to go to USC. Any of these guys go with you to USC?
Well, Ronnie ends up following me to SC. He took his time, to decide. So we ended up being roommates there.
Yeah. So what was your experience like at USC?
Wow. Can you imagine a guy from San Bernardino and at USC? And wow, all I seen was fame and fortune. Yeah. It was just amazing. So I never experienced the first class hotels, at SC, you're being escorted, every city we go in, we're escorted to the hotel, escorted to the games, police escort, SC's in town,
Well, even on campus. Yeah. I mean, you're a celebrity on campus with the rest of the students.
Absolutely.
As a football player.
Absolutely.
Now, you play all 4 years?
5. It was actually 5. So my first year, I ended up redshirting, but I ended up actually not redshirting until the end of the year. Yeah. And so Robinson approached me and he says, we can get an extra year out of you, even though you did play a couple of games, we can get an extra year out of you. Yeah. And and so I was all for it. Yeah. And so I ended up with 5 years at SC.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you've won a few games there. Yeah. Talk to me about what you were able to do.
So I was blessed to be on the 1978 national championship team.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 1979 Rose Bowl champs. 1980 Rose Bowl champs. We beat Michigan and we beat Ohio State. And then we went back to Alabama the year we won the national championship and beat Alabama in Bama. You can imagine that. That was quite amazing. It's quite an experience. And Bear Bryant was still the coach, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Wow.
And so
on top of the world, man. You're just winning. You're winning. You're winning.
Yes.
So did you think in your mind, okay, I'm going to do this professionally at that time?
At that time, it was fame and fortune. Every SC tailback went first round, millionaire, So, absolutely.
You were such a significant player at USC that when Ronnie Lott is inducted into the Hall of Fame, he only mentions 2 players.
Yeah.
And your name is one of them.
Yes.
What did he say about you?
Well, he acknowledged me as being one of the great players that he had a chance to play with. Yeah. From San Bernardino, because we're from the same neighborhood.
Right.
Pretty much. And
yeah.
And so it was an awesome feeling at that time, because I was probably struggling at that time, that he made the, and he mentioned me.
I'm going to talk about the struggle in a minute, because that's a real powerful bit of your story. But before that, I want to continue this line of thought. Great success at USC. You're winning national championships, and then it comes time to go pro.
Right.
Who came knocking at your door, and who did you end up signing with?
Well, so I've had a couple teams. I know St. Louis. St. Louis was interested at the time, and Seattle was interested at the time, and so to make a long story short, I ended up signing with the Seattle Seahawks, free agency. Yeah,
amazing. So here you go. You put in the time, you put in the effort, because people that think you don't have to work hard and be a football star have never played football.
Never played football.
I played football in my younger years, and I didn't make it. I worked hard.
Right.
And so when you look at the field, and I think this is one of the most amazing things. Every single guy that makes it into professional football were the best guy from their school in high school.
Sure.
Best guy from their school in college.
Sure.
And by the time you get to the pros, these are the best of the best. And so to get to that level is like a huge accomplishment. You make it into that level. You worked really hard, but you never played for the Seattle Seahawks. What happened?
Well, I would go back to my senior year at USC.
Yeah.
Actually, my junior year probably.
Yeah.
Frustrated. Because I know I should be getting more playing time, and they promised me certain things, and so I became discouraged, and I think that's where the drugs started to be the coping skill.
So you started taking drugs to kind of medicate,
self-medicate, and so by the time I, felt like I wasn't being treated fair, but when I look back on it, I think Mike Davis, the same attitude, the great attitude he had as a freshman and sophomore, and should have kept the same attitude.
I think that's so vital, and most people don't understand the role of attitude.
Right.
In our life coaching system that we have at Lifestyle, the number one key to success is attitude.
Attitude.
And what I would say in your situation was you were seeing yourself as a victim in the moment. And that's why it gave you the excuse to take the drugs, is because I'm not getting, and it's because other people's decisions, I'm not getting what I deserve. And it allows you to play the victim, and your ego, who is there to protect you,
absolutely,
actually becomes your worst enemy, because then you're looking for solutions as a victim. But you can only be one of two things. You can be a victim or you can be a victor.
Right.
And you chose a victim path here, and you started doing drugs. So talk to me about that. What happened with you starting to use drugs? Because ultimately this cost you an NFL career.
Absolutely.
So what happened?
Well, so I began to experiment even more with cocaine, and because this is the fast lane, and then I'm I'm in the fast lane, with guys they're doing what they do, right? They're rich and well-born, rich and famous. You know what I'm saying? And so, and so a year goes by, and I'm experimenting, and I'm what they would say is I'm able to cope with the drugs and that and the life and everything, and I'm thinking, hey, you're
functioning,
right? Yeah. Functioning, right? Absolutely. And so what happens is, as soon as I sign with Seattle, I get caught by the undercover selling cocaine. And that was my senior year. And so it escalated to sales to get free drugs.
Yeah.
And I got caught right after I signed.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
From highest of high.
Right.
I'm signed. I'm a professional football player to losing it all.
But even then, right?
Yeah.
And we see this today, that I'm above the law. I'm Mike Davis. Don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because I always got away, because we'll get away with certain things.
Yeah.
And even then, to a certain degree, I didn't do time, because I ended up hiring one of the greatest attorneys that ever lived, named Johnny Cochran.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he was my attorney. Yeah. And Johnny Cochran got me off with 5 years joint suspended. And so when he got me off with 5 years joint suspended, I ended up doing like 30, 40 days at South Pasadena precinct, right? And just tell you a little quick story about that.
Yeah.
Just so one of the officers would take me down, because I was a trustee, to the nearest park, let me work out, because I was just signed with Seattle, Mike Davis. Then it would bring me back to the precinct, had my freedom to go in and out. Never really, at night I had to go in the cell, of course, but it was always open because I'm a trustee.
Yeah.
This is the deal that they gave me.
Wow.
And then next door was the city hall. I'd go next door, work out. At the city hall on one side, then there was a fire department on the other side. So I go to the fire department, lift weights. Then they let me off with 40 days. It's supposed to be 9, but that's all I got. And whether that helped me or not, probably didn't.
That's the question I have. I mean, because did that wake you up, and now you're like, no more drugs. I've got a football career.
Right.
What was your response? What happened?
So what happens is, which I'm very blessed that if it was social media back then, it'd have been all over everywhere. Yeah. But there wasn't no social media, so it really didn't get out. And so, but what did get out, it got out to the pros.
Yeah.
And so my agent, who was Lou Muller at the time, he told me, he says, you've been pretty much blackballed from the NFL. Yeah. And you're just going to go from team to team to team to team to team to team. And so that's how I found out that I was actually blackballed because of my case, because of the.
So what did that cause you to do? I mean, how did you respond to that? Did you keep taking drugs then, or did that make you spiral worse, or what happened?
Yeah. And so what happens is that at the same time, my dad, which I love, died. And so that culminating with the football and being blackballed, I couldn't watch. It was a deep depression. I could not watch football for years.
Really?
I couldn't, because for one, I'm seeing guys that I played with, the Ronnie Last, the Marcus Allen, the Charles White, the different guys that I know, they're going to Super Bowls. Careers are taking off. And I'm just as good, and I'm right there, and I just chose a different path.
Yeah.
And it was just depressing to see it. You know, and
so loss after loss after loss, including the loss of your father,
right,
sends you into a deep darkness.
Yes,
a dark spiral.
Right.
Talk to me about what that experience was like. What and how long did that last? That you were in basically a dark spiral.
So the dark spiral lasted. So the next thing I know, let me just put it like that. The next thing I know I'm homeless.
Hmm.
I'm living behind the dumpsters, cardboard boxes. And here I am and eating out of trash cans at different fast food restaurants that throw their stuff away by law. You know, and so I'm finding the, you know, survival on the streets and drugs, and cocaine had became what I valued in life.
Right.
You know, but the next thing I know, off and on, it's 35 years later.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
3.5 decades.
Yes.
The dark spiral.
Yes. In and out.
Homeless.
In and out.
The Michael Davis that people knew before, that they'd be buying you a burger, they'd be buying you food.
Right. Getting me hotel rooms, and
they're gone.
But I was so ashamed that really I did a lot of my dirt or hustling, whatever you want to call it, away from San Bernardino. I'd go to other towns and other cities and just hang out because it's just so embarrassing. You know, they didn't want people to see me like that, you know. Because
it wasn't you.
Right.
It wasn't you.
Right.
And I know you, and I know you after you cleaned up, and it's not you, and it's not you today, and it wasn't you before.
Right.
So I want to ask you, what was it that helped you get out from homelessness and drug addiction? What was that turning point that launched you into a different trajectory?
Well, the first thing I had to do was go back to my childhood, and just, you know, I was raised in my father's church, you know the word, know what's right and wrong, you know, and then I realized that I had sold out to fame and fortune. I had sold my values for football and fame and fortune. And let me just clarify this. The football is not bad. Okay. It's just the decisions that I made around the football. Yeah. And so what I had to do, I had to go back, and I had to claim my identity. Who was I? Yeah. I had to redefine my identity. Mike Davis, you know what I mean? As the preacher's son, or Mike Davis that knows God. Yeah. You know, and Mike Davis that depends on God, and redefine my values, you know, and I had to build boundaries, and then God showed me how to change. Because a lot of times people hear you need to change, and you know you need to change, and you know, and I hear that so often. But the thing that I tried so many programs, and I tried so many different things, just the power of God to do it, and you know, I don't need nobody telling me. But this last time, it was like I'm seeing people just riding down the street. I wanted my life back. I wanted my life back. Yeah. I wanted to just the simple things in life. I wanted to drive down the street in my own car, be able to go to the grocery store, shop, go home, cook a meal, sit down at the table, and just that simplicity. Yeah, I miss it. You know, I miss that. Yeah, and I took it for granted.
You mentioned God, and I know a lot of our viewers and listeners are like, okay, yeah, that's the old answer, God, but I have to confirm, and it's part of our 5 key system. The 5th key is existence. And unless you have a connection with the divine that helps you understand you were made for a reason, your life has meaning, and you were made with a purpose. You were created as a purpose, and your flesh was wrapped around that. Exactly. For the people that I work with, that I coach here in Hollywood and elsewhere, it's amazing when people stop fighting and realize the possibility of the divine, and the divine has a divine purpose for you, and just be open to it. I'm not saying adopt everything that all the churches are saying about God. I'm saying, but be open for God to define himself to you in his way that will be right to you. That's when he can bring in the life change that you want. It's not necessarily about doing right and not doing wrong. Right. It's about doing your purpose. Exactly. About who you are. Exactly. So what I want to talk to you about is that last day that you said, this is it. and I need life change. And you had that turnaround. And then ultimately, I want people to hear what you're doing now. So briefly share, what was that turning moment point that you said, okay, I'm living homeless. I'm a drug addict. Things are going to change today. What was that moment for you? Well,
that moment, another story that really happened. It's in the book. Get the book.
Yeah, you got to get the book. Definitely get the book.
I hit the lotto. I bought one lotto ticket, a bingo twist.
Yeah.
And I hit the lotto for $20,000.
Oh my word.
And so
why did you buy a lotto ticket? Was that your practice, or you?
Yeah, man, I don't have to go out and hustle tonight and go buy this lotto ticket. If I can make, I'll win 50 here and a little bit here and 20 here, and I don't have to stress tonight. I can just go home and.
So you hit 20 grand. What did that do to you?
Wow. This is the money to get me off the streets for good. Oh yeah, this is a blessing from God, and and man. It was just, it was amazing that with God, but God was showing me I'm still there.
Yeah.
I'm still there.
Yeah. I can get you out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. 1 in a million. That's 1 in a million that a homeless guy would hit, or anybody would hit for 20 grand with one ticket.
Yeah.
$3. But that ticket led to the dope man running off with my money.
So you lost it all.
Yeah, he ran off with $70,000. I was to the point to where I wanted to kill. I wanted to kill this guy. I hated him so, and it was the way that I felt. Mm-hmm. I never felt like that hate for anybody, because I was raised in the church with love and love your people, love your brother, man.
But
and
you wanted justice now,
And God, just a divine appointment. I'm walking down Redlands Boulevard, where I used to work as a AC man, electrical man, and I run into my old boss, and I was telling him how I feel and everything. He says, "You need to get your life together.
Wow,
you can make that 10 grand back anytime.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go into a program." And it was right then and there that he said, that guy's not worth prison. And he talked me into going to a program. Don Allison, still my best friend to this day. He talked me into going to a program. He called. I ended up going into a program that Monday. And we'll finish, but I'm working on 9 years since that day.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Almost a decade now. And that turned your life around. I want people to understand, as uncomfortable as it is, to look someone in the face and say, you need to get your act together. You need to clean yourself up.
Right.
That's the conversation that turned your life around. And as uncomfortable as it probably was for him to say that, it was the conversation that turned your life around.
Yes.
Because he was able to impact your life to where you're like, this is what I need to do.
Yeah. And I went from there, I went into the Cedar House program. Mm-hmm. Then I went into, and this is where you come in, then I went to the Relive program at Loma Linda.
Yeah. There at Loma Linda University.
Yeah. And that's where I met my amazing wife, Valerie.
Yeah.
And we have an amazing marriage. We're working on 7 years of marriage, and we're a great team. And she really instrumental in me being clean today. Yeah. My support system. You just need a partner.
Absolutely. You absolutely do. And what she helped you do as well, though, because the most powerful part of your story is not that you cleaned yourself up.
Right.
But that you are connecting with your divine purpose.
Right.
You're helping other people clean up.
Yes.
Talk to me about what you're doing now. You just got a 5-year grant from the county.
Yes.
You are helping other people to find freedom. Talk to me about what you're doing.
Well, one of the things that I've been wanting to do and had a dream of doing even 10 years ago, I'm my own nonprofit. I have my own nonprofit now. It's YouGo International Network, where you go into all the world and help and teach the gospel, and and so that was my dream. And in 2017, that dream materialized. And so I have my own nonprofit. And what I wanted to do was help those to make better decisions, especially athletes in high school and even in the pros, or, you know, to help them make better decisions, better life decisions. And so stop blaming others. Take responsibilities for your own action. These are the things that I had to do. My thought life, or, you know, I had to think about, you know, think about your thoughts. You have to take control of your thoughts, because your thoughts become actions, and every action becomes a consequence. So I realized that the decisions that I made in the past were consequences. There was a consequence to every decision that I made. I'm a state certified substance abuse counselor. And so what I'm doing now is most of the clients that I have lost their children, and they have to come to it. And so they're referred to me, to our agency.
You're helping people be reunited with their precious children. I mean, that's huge.
And also I am a self-employed contractor, where I am teaching trades and helping people with jobs. You know,
that's so important to get some of these people off the street. Is to have a valuable trade that they can take their time and exchange for money.
My wife would say, you know, we don't want to just give them fish. We want to teach them how to fish.
That's what you got to do.
You know,
that's the most dignified and respectful thing that you can do for people.
And so God has truly blessed us, and we are, and we stay humble, but God has blessed us as entrepreneurs these days. So we are entrepreneurs, but the entrepreneur is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And he has blessed us to be a blessing to others. So I'm a motivational speaker, a life coach, minister, counselor, mentor, and and I'm available.
What people don't understand is they typically look at the mistakes that they've made in the past, and they think those are things that keep them from being valuable and fulfilling their life calling, their life purpose. But what you're showing is that it's through the experiences that you've had. You're now not only empathetic to what people are going through, but you know the tools of how to get out. And so you are more capable to come in as a life coach, as a counselor, as a mentor, to say, I know where you're at, and I'm not buying your excuses. Here's how we're going to get you out, if you want to get out.
Exactly. And that's what the book is about. How to change, how to get out.
I love it. And how to have victorious change.
Victorious change.
Title of your book.
I just preached a sermon last Sunday on Your Life is Ministry.
And your life is ministry. And I hope that every high school, college, professional coach that's listening to you now understands you go to these places, you talk with the athletes, and you help them understand how decisions like this in their life and how they deal with the loss and the challenges in their life can affect the rest of their life and affect their career. You have an incredible story. We're out of time, but thank you so much for coming and joining us today. And I want to invite you, if you'd like to hear more stories like this to help you on your journey, definitely go to our website, lifestyle.org, to continue your journey to your best life possible.